What is going on, my people? My beautiful people, my beautiful Americans, beautiful people of the world, my beautiful, beautiful people, man. So, welcome back, man. Free Me TV. Man, I hope everybody's had a blessed week, man, and I hope that your week was prosperity, prosperous, and that it it went the way that you wanted it to, you know. Like they say, man, I love it when a plan comes together. So what I'm going to do tonight, man, is I'm going to just chill and just talk about a few things. As you see on the screen right here, I got it blacked out right now, but I got a video that I'm going to show and share, and I'll probably be incorporating that at times because music has been a big influence on my life in many facets, and it's helped me get through some pretty fucking rough times, man, for real. And I'm gonna share with you a song that that has done exactly that. So before I get into that, also I'm expecting a guest as well. He's out with his wife tonight. So if he can join us, he will. Um, and we'll keep that under wraps until then. So what I'm going to do first and foremost is start off with a toast. So tick tock, tick tock. Now I'm not a drinker. I do not drink. Um, but on occasions, I will have a drink. I recommend that you do this responsibly, safely within your own home, um, and you practice all responsibilities as an adult of handling your liquor. So, but it is a nice mm, cap to a tough week. You know what I'm saying? Nice cap to a tough week. So, I'd like everybody to join me. If you've had a rough week, you know what I'm saying? You know, you've had a rough week, man. You may have lost somebody, um, things of that nature. So, a lot's going on. Mm. Hey, good catch, boy. Good catch. Got a lot going on in this world. There's nothing wrong with capping the week off with a nice drink, man. Sitting back and having a nice little vibe. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm gonna try to bring you tonight, man. A nice little vibe. So you can either kick it with me or not. It's up to you. But I'm here. We're gonna keep it positive. We're gonna keep it gangster. And we're gonna keep it pimping. That's what we're gonna do. So this here, I think smells good too, man. This here, first and foremost, to all my brothers and sisters down in Miami, dealing with the tragedy that occurred down there. Um, God bless you. God bless you. May He walk with you. May He protect you. May He shield you. May He give you everything that you need to get over this, get through it, and restore your life and get it back into the order that you were prior to this. If you've lost somebody or you're still missing somebody, I pray for you. This drink is for you. Um, for all those up north, you know, angry. lashing out over recent events. I feel you, I hear you, but let's deal with our anger in a different fashion. You know, I feel your pain, and this is what I'm here for is to try to just bring comfort and understanding to this pain so that we don't feel this pain anymore, and we can start accomplishing things for ourselves, start moving forward, and start producing, and not listening to other people of what we can and what we can't do, letting other people oppress our thoughts or minds, which turns into our actions. So, but we do it in a positive, moving, you know, moving forward way. So this drink is also for you. For those that have lost loved ones everywhere across the seas to COVID, you're dealing with COVID. For those that have lost loved ones to war, strife, you know, gangs, murders, things of that nature, man. If you just lost a loved one this week, man, this drink is for y'all. Um, it's tough out there. People are people are upset, right? We don't know how to handle our emotions. We don't know how to move forward. Puts us in despair. Puts us in stress. I'm guilty of this myself. My temperament is on a short leash, and I lose my anger very quickly because these are serious times, and there's not too many other things that I want to discuss other than really what's going on and how it's applicable to my life and my life only. So for that, this drink is for me. Cheers, everybody, man. Cheers. Much love and respect to everybody out there struggling to fight for your rights, just struggling to make a name for yourself, struggling to make an extra dollar, man. I feel you, man. Let's do it. Come. Salute, man. Salute. Mm, mm, mm. Oh, that's good. It was a tough week, man. Mm. Ooh, let me put this because I ain't ate and I don't drink, and I'm liable to knock all this crap over within the next 10 minutes. So, the song that I'm going to bring you into is a song that I held pretty near and dear to me. And it's an inspirational song, and it was something that I would turn to when I really needed to focus on self. When I really needed to pick myself up, because being in prison and being alone, you don't have no one there. You don't have that emotional support. When a guard is in your face and he's telling you you're not shit, and you just wanna you just wanna smash this dude, and there's nobody there to pull you to the side, and just pick you up. There's many examples of how we suppress a lot of emotions in order to just get along or move forward in life, right? So when we do that, it can tend to put us, in an insecurity, or uh, it just can put us into a negative light. And sometimes we're in positions in life where we don't have somebody to come and snap us out of that, you know. And if we're unable to snap ourselves out of it, then we can stay in that despair, and continue to make decisions in that frame of mind. So you have to turn to something. You have to turn to something to pick you up, to pick you up and make you feel, like you can do this and you can get through this, right? And so for me, there was several songs at several different key points, right? But this one in particular, um, man, it would lift me up. It would lift me up to hear this person spit the way that they spit and to hear them say the things that they say. It's very, very uplifting. It was for me. And I want to share that with the people that may be out there just going through some of the things that I've gone through and felt some of the things that I've felt, um, have seen some of the things that I have seen. These things can just put you in a dark place, you know, and it's up to us to lift us up. So here we go, man. I'm gonna share it with you. To go back and change something, it would be that. It would be that I never made goals for me to achieve. Which I'm trying to do now, which anybody that knows me, right, and really truly knows me and knows where I've came from and what I'm doing, knows like where I'm at right now is pretty phenomenal. You know what I mean? Is phenomenal in the sense that I have like all of this is just me. There's nobody behind me, you know, checking, or doing my editing or giving me suggestions, anything like that. Everything I've learned on my own by just reading and researching and reaching out to people, meeting wonderful people online through Facebook, things of that nature that that have helped me grow and want to help me grow. And then there are people that, like you deal with in life that they say they want to help you grow, but it's again, it's just empty promises, empty words, and that results in a waste of time. So it's really just trying to weave out, who's really there and who's not. And these are challenges that we face every day, man, in every aspect of our lives, whether it's at work, in prison, the military, anywhere, is we're always, or we should always be conscious of who's in our presence and how our time is being consumed, you know? Um, because at the end of the day, it's all about self-generation, self-progression, and self-awareness, right? Because it's our time. This is my time. This is my time. I'm dedicating my time of my life every second, right, to bringing awareness to my fellow Americans, my fellow human beings of all races, of all colors, of all creeds, all beliefs, all whatever. It doesn't matter to me. None of that crap matters. If you're a human being, I understand you're just trying to survive. You're trying to understand, and you're trying to work with the best that you have. You know, um, not every human being feels like me. You know, so and I understand that as well because experiences are different. People have different experiences all over. So with that being said, again, prison is a mental state. It's a mentality. It's how you look at it. It it really makes you question yourself to the core if you allow it. Um, it forces you to almost because again, when you're in a situation where strong is all you have to survive, it's either there or it's not, and you'll quickly find out, whether it is or it isn't. Um, prison is good at that. Prison is good at testing your character, who you really are, because there's no line. You know, you could lie if you want to, but you'll quickly be known as a liar. There's no stealing. Again, you could steal if you want to, but you'll be quickly known as a thief. Um, so prison questions your manhood, so to speak, your character and who you are, and what you stand for, your honor, what you're about. It's a gladiator school because there's it's an environment where no one cares, right? The guards damn sure don't care. The few select people that do care, you know, are hardly ever there, you know. Um, and I cannot really think of any one particular person that I could say truly, truly cared about me or my case or what I was experiencing. So I didn't receive any, there was no one through all of those years, you know, there was no one that I could ever go to that one could understand the pain that I'm bringing them, right? And two, give me, you know, valuable solutions on how to handle those circumstances, um, those feelings and those emotions. And then three, it had to be somebody that I could trust, right? Which is again is a valuable thing inside. Again, this is why trust is a very valuable thing amongst convicts. Um, Mostly being because, you know, if I have a cellie, it's me and my cellie are kicking it. It's late night, kind of like with y'all. You know, y'all are my cellies right now. So we're just kicking it and we're talking. You know, my cellie, I have to know I can trust because, you know, we all need to open up at times and we have to have somebody to trust to work through our thoughts, to process our emotions and our feelings. It's very hard to process those things by ourselves because we're biased, and ego is always in the way. So we want to justify, we want to make excuses, things of that nature. So we we have to have somebody to process these things with. This is why you have to have a soulmate, a best friend, you know, a love, you know, to help process the traumas of life, you know, and these experiences that we go through. So in prison, you don't have any of that that can relate to you and go through your experiences other than your cellie. This is why it's very, very important you pick and choose and you're careful of who your cellie is because you don't want to give your cellie uh, key things about your life, keys to your heart. You know what I'm saying? That this person has ill will or bad intentions or just a sadistic motherfucker that has no empathy for anybody. But he's a master manipulator and he knows how to show empathy to garner, you know, to gain trust and friendship out of people so he can live off them, leech off them, things of that nature. So again, these are there, and you have a lot of that, you know. So it's very, very important that you know who your cellie is because in key moments like this, when you just get off the phone with your wife and she's telling you that, you know, listen, I've met somebody, you know, or I just can't do this anymore and I'm divorcing you, um, or even things even more tragic than that. It's it's going back to your cell and hanging out with your cellie and pouring some hooch, buying you a little, $10 sack or something like that, blazing up in the room, You may have some speakers ran in the room or whatever. You hook it up on a Saturday night and you just get, fucked up, you and your celly, and you talk about shit. And you just go through shit, and your celly becomes the most intimate person in your life because this is all you have. And and if he's a treacherous person, you know, if he's not a good dude, he'll take he'll take the keys to your heart and he'll use them against you in many, many ways, either contacting your wife, knowing that you guys are going through some, maybe you got a fly ass chick and you got her up on your board or whatnot. And this dude may be in there masturbating to your chick that you have up on your board. This dude may be masturbating to your children that you have up on the board. You never know. That's why I didn't hang my shit up on that shit. I kept my shit on the inside of the locker, you know. And that way, like when I wanted to look at my shit, I could just go in and I could open my locker and view my pictures or whatnot. But over the years, I tended just to get away with pictures and do away with them, and I even stopped putting pictures up because it's just a past life. You know what I mean? So I say all that to say that trust is a very valuable thing in those regards, especially when it comes to your selling. And and you have to be able to trust this person. Again, is rare. And the point, I guess, to get back on to subject is that a lot of times you don't have that, you know. You don't have that celly, that one celly that understands and you could vibe like that. You know what I mean? And it's very, very rare to be able to trust another person like that. So you have to be able to do it yourself. This is the point that I'm trying to make is you have to be able to pick yourself up. This is in life too. It doesn't have to be in prison. Again, prison is a mental state. Don't forget that I said this. You can be out here in life. You could be in corporate, grinding in a prison corporate state, right? Same concept, man. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. So you have to have a beacon. You have to have that light, you know, something to center you and let you know, listen, man, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm in corporate. This is why I'm putting up with these people's crap. You know what I mean? This is why I'm doing the things that I'm doing, right? And move forward from that. This song right here that I played, man, it would have me ready to go. Like I'm ready, man, because I know, man, I know what I got and I know what I'm coming with, you know, and I know my plans. Now, I am sad to say that I do get lazy, right? And I deal with a wide array of emotions as well. And I got a lot going on in my life, and I tend to push shit on the back burner. I tend to procrastinate. That's one of my issues, my biggest issues, whether it be out of insecurities or whatever. My ADD gets a lot in the way with those things as well. But you know, and because of that, like and I'm gonna do an episode on this here too because I really want to speak on this gentleman's life, man. But to bring him in, rest in peace. I love you. Low, right? One of the best friends that I've ever met was a cat named Low. Frederick Washington, out of Miami, Florida. I'm really trying to contact some of his family, but so I met Low in Miami FCI, and he was a paraplegic from the waist down, right? And colostomy bag, the full nine. and him and I got very tight. So we would sit in the cell, man, and we would I'm gonna get into that what we would go through, but we would really dialogue on a lot of stuff, man, and we would digest books. You know, we would consume books and dialogue on these books, nonfiction, biographies, things of education, you know, and we would do it for all day, just sit in the cell, man. Well, everything that you see me doing now with my organization, trying to get my channel up and running, you know what I mean? All of this was it was in the plans. This was in the script, right? Him and I would sit in there and we would talk and we would talk and we would kick it and be like, man, listen, man, I'm gonna get out. You know, this YouTube thing is taking off, man. I'm gonna get out and you and I, we're gonna dialogue like this. We're gonna have us a channel, man, and the people, man, telling you the people are gonna love it. And I procrastinated, and I got caught up in life because I was just coming home. So he beat me home. He went home maybe about 6 months before I did. And Lo was in a rough state, man, Uh he was in a rough state. And again, I'll go into some of the issues. This is why I want to get in contact with some of his family to try to fill me in on some of the stuff I don't know. But he had a very rough time transitioning back into society, and there wasn't much help for him. And being a paraplegic, which goes against everything that this man believed in, because he hated he hated having to depend on people, right? And being a paraplegic, you're kind of put in a position to where you have to do just that. So Lo was always in a miserable spot, man. But when him and I kicked it, like all of that was just irrelevant, man. We were just kicking it, And Lo was supposed to be my co-host. He's supposed to be on here with me right now, kicking it, same way that we was doing it. And Lo passed away, man. My little partner passed away before any of this even became into to existence. I'm not sure exactly how he passed. I know he started getting sick. Uh, I just think that, knowing Lo, I just think that he just stopped caring for himself, because he would get down on himself in a sense that no one really cared for him. Truly, you know what I mean? To really help him, not for the day, not for the month, you know what I mean? Um, Not toss him, as I like to say, not toss him fish, but teach him how to fish. You know what I mean? How to be self reliant, because at the end of the day, that's all the man wanted to do was be self reliant. He just didn't have the skill set, man, and he didn't have the mentorship in order to do that. And I procrastinated, man. I fell off. I got caught up in life. I fell off my path, I just got caught up in re-entry and trying to survive myself. But I always kept this on the back path, always on the back burner of this was the direction I wanted to move in, because I have a lot to say, as you could tell from my lengthy shits, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man, but I got a lot to, I got a lot to say. My shit done got watered down. I told you I'm not a drinker, but I hope y'all enjoying your drinks, and I hope y'all are staying safe, man, for real. It's love, man. It's all love here. It's what's needed. We need love in our lives, man. We need love in our lives. We need we need forgiveness. We need prayer. We need faith, right? We need understanding. We need enlightenment. We need leadership, right? We need honesty. We need truth. These are the things that we need right now. And whether you want to believe it or not, but our country as it stands is this shit is in trouble, dog, for real. this shit this shit is in trouble, man. So we need all of those things because people are pissed off. People are pissed off, man. I'm pissed off too. These people took a chunk of my life, man. And even though that I was putting myself in a position for these things to happen to me, I accept that and I acknowledge that. And I've done a lot of bad in my life and I've hurt a lot of people. There's no question about those things. But these people took a chunk of my life and they did it bogusly. I guess maybe that's what upsets me the most is that these people are constantly trying to label me as the criminal, and what they do is criminal. How they even arrested me was criminal. How they even tried me was criminal. The whole process was criminal in itself. But it took me many, many, many years to really understand the essence of why I was where I was at. It took me many years to understand that. And it took me breaking down to the point to where I was physically beating myself, you know, um, just in despair because I wanted to change, right? And when I emptied that sponge, as you say, like wring that sponge out, you know, I had an onrush of new information coming in when I had that change. My filter, I emptied my filter and I let the spirit fill it up. And when I did that, I saw things completely different, you know. I was seeing things from internal versus external, which means that I stopped blaming everything around me for my mistakes, for my decisions, my choices, and I started taking ownership for my decisions and my choices. And when that happened, everything changed because it made me more conscious of self versus environment. Dig what I'm saying? So it made me more conscious of who I was and the choices that I was making, knowing that I was responsible for those choices. And if I didn't like where I was at and the pain that I was feeling, that I had the power to change it, in all aspects, in all arenas. It does not matter. You could be hanging, you could be hanging on a wall by chains. You know what I'm saying? You could be hanging on a wall by chains. You still have choices. You still have choices. And it's who you are in that moment and what you believe in, you know. As I say, throughout history, all truth tellers, all truth tellers throughout history have been eliminated in some fashion. So it's scary to be a truth teller. And we've gotten off that path, meaning that because there's a particular situation going on in our life, right? There's a particular situation going on in our lives that we want to protect because of, for whatever reason, we just want to protect it. It will allow us to lie, it will allow us to cheat, manipulate, corrupt, all of these things in order to protect this materialism that we've deemed as necessary to sell our souls to do so. So is just really knowing who you are in those moments of strength. And for me it was uh, truly getting to know who I was for the first time in my life, you know, not paying attention to what other people were saying that I was, but truly understanding and knowing who I was and what I was capable of doing. And that's when, man, I soared, bomb, took off, right? Like, I'm starting to realize all of this crap that my father used to tell me, my brother used to tell me, all of this crap people that were jealous of me used to tell me, you know, it just wasn't true. Like, I'm phenomenal. Like, the kid is phenomenal, man, for real. You're gonna hear stories, man, for real. I'm just not saying this, man. I want to bring people on the show that know me, that I've been incarcerated with, that's going to tell you. Hopefully, I got cats that's coming home, man, that'll share with you. The kid was a beast, for real, on all aspects, you know. And the point of me saying that is, I never knew, you know. I had no idea I was that, you know what I'm saying? Until I eliminated the voices that had kept that suppressed. Dig what I'm saying? People that I had surrounded myself with all of this time, that I trusted and I loved, I didn't know any different. And it's not that they didn't love me or they wished me ill harm or whatever. And maybe in their eyes, it may have even been them trying to bolster me or teach me in the way that they knew how. But the fact is that it had negative impacts, right? In my thought process, me as who I am, it had negative impacts in my thought process. And nobody never really took the time to understand who I was as a human being and how I learned and how I processed things, dig. So it was me having to learn that on my own. That's what prison did for me. I'm not sorry that I went to prison. I'm not mad at the time per se, right? Because I've learned how to deal with that and accept that for what it is and appreciate the opportunity of life that life gave me. This is how I looked at it, right? Instead of looking at prison as a disciplinary or anything that belittled me or took me, um, made me less than what I was, right? I started looking at it like this here, Dig. So for me, prison started to become my temple in a sense that you have people that'll pay hundreds and thousands of dollars to get away from life, to separate themselves from life for whatever reason, whether they go to a monastery to meditate for so many years or whatever, they go on these life journeys to find out who they are. And that's what prison is. Prison is that life journey, right? And it's a blessing in a way because you are taken away from the pressures of life, right? All of what's going on out here in society, all of this noise, right? You're stripped of that, and you're put in a position to where you are concentrating on you with no distractions unless you allow them to be there. We can carry distractions with us from the outside world because there are still TVs in prison, there are still radios, things of that nature. So you can carry over those distractions with you, but they're limited distractions and they're not as vast. You know, it's very easy to separate yourself from them, and maybe that's why I don't watch TV and stuff no more because I've went a decade plus without really watching TV for many reasons, right? There's fights over the TVs. It's just many reasons I stopped watching TV, but within that, again, it took me out of my stupor. It woke me up, and it allowed me time for self, right? Which is what society don't have anymore. Society has no time for self. Societies get out there, grind out, make people richer, um, pay your taxes, raise your kids, things of that nature. But there's no time for self. Prison is a monastery. It's a place where you you can focus on you and fix you and 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 everything that comes with that. So when I started looking at that as that, when I started looking at prison as a mindset and uh, a monastery, if you will, a place for meditation, a place for growth. It changed everything. All of this happened within a year or two. All of these examples that I give, right? It all happened within about a year or two, and then from that point on, from about 2008 on to 2016, right, was just growth of what I had realized about myself. But once I knew, like, once I determined, like, listen, man, I'm not anything that these people said I was, that was it. That was the switch. That was just a switch, right? And from that point, I'm just like, so everything that I've learned, right, is other people's opinions, other people's perceptions of what I should have learned. And I wiped my slate clean, you know, threw all that garbage out, man. And I just started from scratch. You know what I'm saying? I just started from scratch. And I just started bringing in new information, bringing in new information, whatever I could get my hands on that I, right, wanted to learn, not what somebody else wanted me to learn, not what somebody else thought I should learn or told me I had to learn. I wanted to learn what I wanted to learn. And I wanted to process information the way I wanted to process information. And I'm doing this for the first time in my life. Again, you're talking at 30 years old, you know, I'm having these revelations of self. And I would have never had these revelations in society. I would have never had these revelations in everyday life of out here grinding out, trying to pay bills, trying to keep up, trying to be a parent, all of these issues, right? I would have never had the visions of self. So prison is a mindset, man. You know, it's all in how you look at it. It really, really is. You know, you deal with the same issues in there that you do out here. It's no question. Do you get raped in prison? Yes, you can get raped in prison, man. You can. Just as you can get raped out here, you know? If you're doing things to put yourselves in the positions for those issues to happen, they can happen. Just like out here, you know? Can you be beat to death by guards in prison? Yes, you can. You can be beat to death by cops out here, you know? You deal with the same instances. You know, you still have to ask permission to do certain things, whether it's permission from your boss, permission from your parents, permission from, somebody, the law, whatever. You still have to get permissions, man. You know, prison is no different from society. So I'm gonna start doing this little live thing, man. Like I say, I'm ADD. I'm all over the place. I really am. And my thoughts are sporadic. I don't plan any of this. I don't be sitting down like, okay, I'm gonna go live Saturday, 7 o'clock. Although for my subscribers, I do appreciate it and I do love you guys. And I am trying to be that strictly for you guys only. Trust me, I'm a free spirit. I'm not locked down to that stuff, man. But I understand and I do appreciate it and I do respect people's times. And I do respect and appreciate greatly, 100%, 100%, the love that you guys show me by either tuning in live, subscribing, watching the videos, that nature. So I do this for you guys. Everything I do is for you guys. Everything I do is for the love of humanity, to try to wake my brothers and sisters up, to stop racism, to stop hate, to stop tearing each other down, and to focus our energy on who and what entity it needs to be focused on so we can come together as one nation, man. Something we've never ever been. One nation, right? One word, one voice, one nation. Different people, different understandings, not all thinking the same, of course, but the core element of knowing that this is our country, man. This is our country. And like it or not, agree with it or not, but the Constitution is what gives you, right, the right to disagree. It gives you the right to not to be able to voice out your disagreement, right? So whether you agree with it or not, you still have to respect it, and we still have to know the value that is there. And as long as it's there, right, as long as it's still in place and it's still recognized as the rights to the people, we can always work on it, on making it better so that it includes all people and all people feel included as a nation. But none of that is ever going to happen until we stop arguing and killing each other, right? That has to like stop, man. I'm talking to these kids out here, and these kids, man, these kids are wild, man. I thought, like, okay, let me try to put this into context, right? Because, like, now when I was a kid, man, I was doing some crazy shit, and I'm gonna get into all of this stuff, right? Because it boggles my mind now as an adult how I was able to do the stuff that I was doing, you know, and it's in no comparison to what these kids are doing these days, man. Like these kids are Dahmer wannabes, man, almost. Not saying they're eating people, but what else is next? These kids are out here slaughtering innocent people that they don't even know for no reason. So, you know, we're we're in a bad state, man. We really are. And I feel a moral obligation to dedicate the time of my life, as I was saying earlier, the seconds of my life, right? I feel a moral obligation to communicate with as many people as I can, to get my worries, my concern to the people for what I see. And I feel that I'm in a unique position to do so because of my experience dealing with the prison landscape and being taken away from society for a period of time, especially during a very a very pertinent period of time, going through the 2008 oppression, everything that the people were going through at that time. I was in a unique position to be able to sit back and watch from a bird's eye view without the pressures of what society, my fellow Americans, what you were going through at that time, because I was in a shielded environment. I was taken care of, you know, and I didn't have to worry about my mortgage not being paid. I didn't have to worry about going to the store and getting making sure that my fridge was full or anything like that. Those necessities were there for me, so I didn't have to worry about that. I could worry about self. You dig what I'm saying? So I feel that because of that, right, because of that unique position that I was in, you know, of 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 life at that time and that awareness, it's because of that, I'm able to give a alternate perspective, if you will, right? And I'm bringing truth, dog, like you've never heard, because again, I was in the belly of the beast, right? Me and my fellow companions, we would sit there and we would watch C-SPAN. You dig what I'm saying? And we would watch C-SPAN and we would watch these people, especially when anytime that they were talking about the BOP, and if the director or anybody was speaking in front of Congress, like we want to see what this fucktard is saying, you know? So man, we would be sitting there watching it, and it's serious. Like this isn't no play because these are people's lives, right? So we would skip out on work. We would we would cold knock a bitch out if he touched that TV and turned it off C-SPAN during any one of these events. No question about it. That's how serious it was, right? Even worse, you know. So it's watching these fucktards sit up there and straight lie to the people, straight lie, know that they're lying, know that they're lying about the nutrition that they're feeding us, lying about the food that they were giving us, lying about the living quarters, the living spaces, lying about the treatment that we would be receiving, lying about the education that we receive, lying about pretty much anything that they could lie about. One, in order to obtain more funding, right? And two, to completely this, confuse the public, you know. So it's very very hard to watch these things, knowing that you're in there, you're in the belly of the beast, and you're watching how this machine is working, man. You know, you're watching how the gears are grinding, you know, and you're equating it to society in a sense because I'm out here now, right? I'm in society, and I am pretty much treated the same way as being inside, you know? And it's the same landscape. It's the same landscape. And what I'm seeing now, and my warning to my fellow brothers and sisters of America, is how I'm seeing this government react and um, orient solutions, if you will, is the same mannerisms of how they attack prison problems. It's the same government. Dig what I'm saying? It's the same government that implements the system in prison. It's the same government that implements the system into the military. It's all the same thought process. It's all the same psychology that goes into it. It's all the same manipulation. It's all the same brainwashing. It's all the same in order to break you down to make you into a new person. Now, the agenda is different as far as which person. You see what I'm saying? If you're into the military branch, the agenda is different than the prison branch, right? I don't want to say it, man, because again, these are just my opinions, right? These are my opinions that have been shown to me and I have processed through my experiences. And I bring this channel to you and I bring my message to you so you can judge for yourself. You know, is this an articulate cat? Is he a sharp cat? Does this cat really know and process the truth, you know, um, unbiasedly, just for what it is and speak it for what it is? And so, because I want my message to be heard. I want my message and my words to be understood and to understand what's happening to us as Americans and as humans, human beings all across the globe. Because most people around the world are already where we're heading. They already see, they see what's coming. We're the only fools that don't see it, or we want to deny it, or whatever the fuck you want to do with it. But that don't stop the wheel, Dick. That don't stop the clock. That don't stop the time. So again, it's what I'm doing. That's my moral obligation. I feel is to bring my experiences and my knowledge of what I've went through, how I've processed things, and bring it to you. Because this shit is deep. This shit is real, man. And this shit isn't about all of this shit is about attacking our consciousness and altering our consciousness and turning us into machines, essentially. Right? If you haven't reached a certain social class by the time that this happens, then you can ask some of the people in the other countries that already know what the answer to that is. You dig? So that's where I'm at in my life. That's where my focus is at right now, is trying to get to a position to where my voice is heard and respected, and people start to follow. And and I don't like the word follow because I don't want followers. Although I see myself as a leader because I step up and I get shit done and I say things that need to be said, and I provide solutions with these things, right? But I don't want followers. I want other leaders with me because this shit is hard. You dig? And I don't have all the answers. I only have the answers to my experiences. So I want other leaders, man, to step up with me and join with me and work on bringing our country together. Country of our citizens, our American citizens, man. So um until the next time, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna wrap this up, and I want to wrap it up by saying, first and foremost, to my people all over the world who catch this, I my nose is, to people all over the world that catch this, right? Listen, if you're in a tumultuous time, you're scared, you don't know what to do, right? You don't know who to go to. Just stop for 5 minutes. Just stop. And if you're able to, find a quiet place where it's just you and your thoughts. Turn off everything, get away from everything, and just sit and think. And tell yourself, I know I'm this, I know that I'm that. Acknowledge these emotions and these fears or whatever it is. Acknowledge them, appreciate them, but then tell them, right? Man, I got this. Like, man, I got this. I hear you, body. Excuse me. I hear you, body. I hear, I hear you letting me know about what's going on. But man, I got this. We can do this. You have to tell yourself this, right? Just tell yourself, man, I got this. I can do it. Excuse me. No matter what it is, just tell yourself, man, I got it. I can do it. And that's it. Just get it done at all costs. You know, I'm moving. I'm building. People telling me no all the time. People telling me, all the time, no, man, no, 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 no. You need this. No, no, you ain't got this. No, man, bump that. Let me share a quick story with you, right? So, as you may or may not know, I have always wanted to be an actor, right? Um, for several reasons, if listeners care to wonder why, I can always share that on the side or do an episode or whatever. But it's far from the point right now. But I've always wanted to be an actor, and I was always told it was a silly dream, right? The odds of you doing that and being that, like it's one in a trillion and all this crap. So it swayed me. Now I'm in a sense to where, you know what, man, like bump that. I want to do it. And until I'm satisfied with the fact that I know that that's not my spot in life, I'm gonna continue to push for it because I have an agenda, right? So I do it. Bam, and I'm getting pieces big. So I'm doing my thing. If you caught the Mordecai episode, you heard a little something about that. He dropped. I'm not gonna drop the people's name. He dropped the people's name, but so to say, I was involved in another gig out here, and I'm not gonna put these people on blast because the ownership of the this company did nothing wrong. But the fact remains is that I want to be an actor, but I don't want to be an actor to the point to where I'm going to sell who I am or what I believe in. So I'm working for this gig, and on the second night of, you know, the second show, I should say, doing this gig, we had this new show host. Now, granted, I had a very tough day that day, and but I was obligated to this show. I enjoyed the show, and for me, it was something that I wanted to do. It was experience, so on and so forth. So, um, I was obligated that day, no matter what was going on. I was obligated to the show. So, long story short, I um I make it to the show. I'm a little late, not for the show itself, only for rehearsals. I had a rough encounter, if you will, friction, whatever, between me and this new show host. Right, we just met for the first time. So, um, but the show was a smash, right? Like it was a smash, and people are coming up afterwards because I was a table actor, so I was made to be out in the crowd, as if I'm, amongst the crowd, and to fool the people, because when my part comes, I'm supposed to scare everybody. People are not supposed to know that I'm in the show, and they don't, and they didn't, and people were coming up afterwards. In this particular show, people were coming up afterwards, and just letting me know, like, man, you were good, you were straight. Like we had no idea that you were in the show, and with the woo. So afterwards, we all meet up in the little room afterwards, and we count up our tips and such, and we go over the show's notes. Now the show host, right? Man, the show was great. Really no notes to go over. If anything, and he talks to me. He says, if anything, Thomas, a couple people said, about your projection, maybe just be a little bit louder. But other than that, the show was wonderful. No notes. Cool. Now, on my way home, I get pulled over, which is another show that I'm going to do because I did record that. So I'm going to share with you, and I'm really going to get into why there are no good cops. So um, I get pulled over. That's how my night ended. So the next day, bam, I get an email from the owners of the show telling me, the host had some notes on the show. Please make sure that, you're dressed appropriately. Please make sure that you know your lines. Please make sure, there was like three or four instances. So I became emotional, right? Because I've dealt with people like this my whole life. These double crossing, smile on your face. And I just don't have patience or time for that anymore. And I did become emotional, and I responded, you know, listen, I appreciate the opportunity that you gave me with this organization, blah, blah, blah. But you could tell this dude he's an asshole. And you could tell him I said so. And matter of fact, I'll tell him myself because we had a group text thing going. Um, and that was pretty much it. So, I share that, right, to say, first and foremost, just be honest. Like you could have just opened that up in the notes in the show thing, just like, hey, listen, man, whatever we could have went through it. It could have been squashed right there. But I say to say that I want to be an actor, and I'm gonna push forward. And I think I may have something. Who knows? I'm probably delusional, right? And y'all are probably like, this dude's a fucking weirdo, right? But again, it doesn't matter to me. You see, you did what I'm saying. It's my point. It doesn't matter. I've lived my life to other people's perceptions of what I can do and what I can't do. And all of that crap is out the window because I've seen what I can do. And I know what I can do. Like I know the sun is coming up tomorrow. I know what I can do and I know what I'm capable of doing if I'm put in the right circumstances. You see. So I didn't have a problem telling them people to go fuck off, man. Fuck off, you and your show. Because I don't need to suck up to anybody or to belittle myself or to accept less than what I know that I am to become something that I want. If it's meant for me, life is going to deliver it to me. I promise you. If it's meant for you, life is going to deliver it to you. It's just putting yourself in the time and the place and the position for those gifts to come. You do that through kindness. You do that through love. You do that through compassion, right? You do these things through knowing that by me contributing to life, life is going to contribute to me. Many blessings. So, man, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for joining. I love you guys sincerely and I care for you, and my thoughts and prayers are with every and each individual that is alive and well and breathing. You know, again, this shit is about growth, right? And it's about survival. It's about coming together and understanding each other, the many different cultures, the many different experiences, and find love in that. Like I love meeting people from different walks of life because I'm curious to know, like, who are you and what have you been through? Because this shit is rough. And I want to know what kind of rough ass shit you've been through. You know, I enjoy that type of shit. So until then, again, man, I love you guys. Thank you for all the love and support that you give me. My diehard people that are with me, that socialize with me on Facebook. Um, this is for you guys, man. I love you guys. Um, y'all know who you are. So until the next time, y'all take